There were a ton of new manga licenses announced during the summer con season of 2025, so let's go ahead and talk about all of them. We just wrapped up SummerCon season 2025 with Anime NYC, and there was a ton of stuff that happened that we need to talk about. So in this video, it's going to be a big one. It's going to be a long one. We're going to talk about all the new manga licenses that were announced from Anime Expo, San Diego Comic-Con, and Anime NYC. So there's a lot of stuff through these three conventions, through the summer con season, if you will. A lot of stuff that's very exciting, things from all genres and demographics, from all kinds of different publishers. Definitely something out there for everyone, including a bunch of new deluxe hardcover editions, as well as some license rescues. So not just brand new licenses, but things that were previously licensed, may have been out of print for a long time or never completed in English, and we're getting them back. So a lot of exciting stuff for every manga fan out there. So a lot of stuff to talk about. Now, before we get into it, I do want to make a few notes that are pertinent to this video. Number one, I apologize. It is raining. It is storming outside right now. So if there's any thunder noises that I'm unable to edit out of this, I apologize for that. I'll do my best to edit the noise out. Number two, if you're curious why there's nothing from Viz, that's typical. They usually don't announce much at all at any conventions, maybe like one extra license, but all of their licenses usually come through their own events that happen in February, June, and October each year. So that means that we should be getting some new Viz ones in about 6 weeks or so not too far out. But there's a ton of stuff from everyone else. Everyone else had, not every single other publisher, but a lot of the big ones did have things to talk about throughout these conventions. Another thing is, as always, this channel, I do focus on manga and not on like light novels, audiobooks, all that stuff. There were light novel announcements, there were some audiobook announcements, but I won't be covering them in this. And there's so many things to cover that like I honestly need to I need the extra time in this video. This is going to be a long one. And I think that's all the stuff that I wanted to mention. Oh, if there's anything that I happen to miss, there was a lot to try and talk about. So there is a chance that I accidentally missed something. If there was, just mention it in the comments down below, and I'll be sure to pin your comment. If there's multiple things that I missed, I'll make a pinned comment giving people credit for the things that they caught. Or if there was anything at like Otakon or another convention that happened recently, let me know. Anyway, let's get into it. I'm going to go ahead and share the presentation on the screen here. So we are starting with Anime Expo 2025, and there's a lot of great stuff that came out of Anime Expo. Now, I will have timestamps for each of these things, so you can go through. I'm going to go in order of convention, and then I'm going to have it broken down by publisher as well, so you can find in the timestamps whatever you might be looking for. But that said, like, there will be 3 different sections for like Viz, or it's not Viz, Yen, and 3 different sections for Kodansha. But we're going to start off with Udon, who had one announcement, but it was a cool one. Macross Frontier Volume 1 is coming out sometime next year in 2026. This is a 5-volume series. So Macross Frontier follows the lives of Alto Sawatome, Ranka Lee, and pop idol named Cheryl Nome on board the Macross Frontier colonization fleet. After the war against the Zentradi aliens, humankind has spread across the universe in order to ensure its survival. The Macross Frontier fleet is part of an effort to spread and maintain the culture of humanity. So Macross fans, here is a new one coming from Udon for y'all. And they had a little bit more information of that here, so you can see the 5 volumes, and it says coming in 2026. Translator is going to be Zach Davison. They misspelt his name, though. Here it's Davisson, not Davidson. Anyway, moving on to our next, we've got some stuff coming from Yen Press. They had a lot of stuff this season. We're going to start with Alia Sometimes Hides Her Feelings in Russian. This is actually an art book. So if you're a fan of the series, this art book collects illustrations from volumes 1 through 8 of the light novels, some promo artwork, chibi illustrations, and even an exclusive short story by the original author, Sun. Next up from Yen Press, we have Demon Lord 2099. This is a 3-in-1 omnibus. In the year 2099 of the Fused era, 5 centuries after his fall, the legendary demon lord Veltal returns to finish what he started, but the world he once conquered is gone, replaced by Shinjuku, a dazzling cyberpunk city where magic and technology intertwine. And the stories of demon lords and heroes are a little more than historical footnotes. But make no mistake, this brave new world will be his for the taking. A few of these were actually from right before the convention, so not during their actual license. They do that a lot. Then we've got divine incursions. Titanic body parts fall from the sky onto a town. The guts and viscera of corpses are mysteriously absent, and humanity continues to dream of eternal life and eternal youth. Katakishi of the Divine Incursion Special Investigations Department is on the case to uncover the truth of these phenomena and other secrets that hit closer to home. I'm going to give a shout out here while we're still early in this whole video to James, who makes the slides for me. He did most of the work on these slides. He does most of the slides for all the videos that I put out these days. And I love this because I can sit here and talk about these things, and y'all can have all the relevant information that you might need as far as when the approximate date of release is, how long the series is, genre, etc., etc. And it makes it easy for you to have all the information. If there's anything I'm talking about in this video that you are interested in, I always recommend people to take a screenshot of the what's going on the screen so you can have that slide to go back to later. Anyway, even a replica can fall in love. When she doesn't feel well, when she doesn't want to go to school, I take her place. I'm her replica and I solely exist for her, but it all changed when he came into my life. Now I wear my hair so the boy I fell for knows it's me. I may be her replica, but my heart is mine. Then we've got Out of the Cocoon, Volume 1. Yuriko Hara, author of the atmospheric, eerily beautiful Yuri, Cocoon Entwined, brings us 5 haunting stories of love and attachment. Ranging from horrific to wistful, these captivating tales featuring both Yuri and boys' love are sure to ensnare readers. For fans of her previous work will be especially delighted by the final piece, which provides an extra chapter of Yoko and Hana's story. So going through these, I am reading the description, or at least part of the description that was given by the publisher for each of these. So you can know exactly what they're saying about these titles. Usually for the monthly buyer's guide videos, I kind of make my own description for each of them. So I just wanted to point that out as well. Next up, Animan Volume 1, Are We the Predators or the Prey? When an unsuspecting father and daughter stumble upon a strange gathering of humanoid animals with a taste for fine cuisine, their worst nightmare is about to begin. Here, creatures who are not quite human and not quite animal at that, raise humans as livestock and slaughter them to put meat on the table. Through this bizarre and horrific tale, society's morals are put to the ultimate test. What does it truly mean to consume another living being? And then we've got Hinatsugimura. This is a single volume hardcover. While looking for the ruins of a pre-World War II village deep in the mountain wilderness, a group of college students finds themselves stuck thanks to a sudden thunderstorm. With no phone service, they decide to wait out the rain in a mansion, but little do they know a ghastly fate awaits them. And moving on to our next one, we have Scenes from Awajima, Volume 1. Awajima Opera School, where countless girls from across the country flock in hopes of one day standing on the big stage. As they work toward achieving their dreams of stardom, their time at Awajima is filled with as much friendship and admiration as competition and jealousy. The precious feelings of girls who were at once both classmates and rivals, tenderly captured in the portraits of an ensemble cast. Next up, Immortality and Punishment, Volume 1. From the creator of Magical Girl Apocalypse and Magical Girl Sight, both from 7 Seas Entertainment, a young man burdened with a heavy secret finds himself trapped, broke, and alone in a love hotel. As he falls deeper into despair, an echo of his past haunts him. Live on so you can atone. Meanwhile, chaos erupts on the streets as grotesque figures begin to appear all around the city. Then we've got Wonder Boy from Kazumi Yamashita. This is the creator of Land, which is coming out this month from Yen Press in a hardcover edition. This is also a hardcover edition. I want to assume by the price that these are going to be 3-in-1 hardcovers, but I couldn't find any specific information about like page count. A family struggling to survive in Japan after the Second World War, an orphan girl in London working her fingers to the bone every day just to pay for the food on her table, a young man in a war-torn world fighting without knowing his purpose for living. Across time and space, these strangers share just one thing in common: the Wonder Boy, a mysterious traveler who appears here and there throughout the ages, watching the triumphs and sorrows of humanity. So that's going to be a big one for sure. And it looks like I would imagine we're probably going to get even more Yamashita stuff in the near future, because I think that Land was the first of Yamashita's works that we're getting in English, and then already putting something else out there, announcing it before Land even comes out. I think we're going to get more. Anyway, next up we have Please Look After the Dragon. Murakami is just your average college student. He attends class, works, and plays games on his off days, and it's a day like any other when he comes across a stray in the park near his apartment. But instead of a cute, fluffy friend, Murakami finds himself face to face with a real-life dragon. Her name is Ilsera, and she's on a training trip to become a fully fledged member of her species. Her only request is for Murakami to foster her during her time in the human world, and so Murakami somehow winds up with a strange new roommate. Now, next up, we have The Guy She Was Interested In Wasn't a Guy at All, limited edition hardcover volume 1. It's a limited edition hardcover with a slipcase, exclusive to the Yen Press web store, and will be released in November of 2025. This series has been a massive hit for them. They've done collabs with Kinokuniya and stuff like that. So not surprising at all to see them do some sort of re-release of the series. And this edition looks really nice. The slipcase is a pretty cool idea where it looks like it's a record. But the next one, where Yen kind of ended, this was their big one for AX, was Battle Royale, the deluxe hardcover. So the original Battle Royale manga is back in print from Yen Press. The hyper-violent classic is back in a new edition. 42 middle school students are forced to fight to the death until there's only one survivor. So this is going to be $55 each. There's going to be 5 3-in-1 hardcovers. Similar to the deluxe hardcovers that Tokyopop did back when they had the license, but they'll be larger trim size. The Tokyopop ones were not the full 7x10 trim size. So these are going to be great. Also fantastic because those have been very out of print. I've had the first 3 hardcovers for a while and was just waiting until one day maybe I would find 4 and 5. I never did, and now they're re-releasing it, or Yen is re-releasing it in new editions, and I am extremely excited for this. If you are completely unfamiliar with Battle Royale, I would recommend maybe at least checking out the movie to familiarize yourself, and then from there you can decide if you're interested in picking up the manga, or maybe you want to pick up the novel. And I also want to mention that with this, Angels Borders and Enforcers at Viz, we now only lack the 2-volume Blitz Royale series, which I think is the second Battle Royale manga. So I know from what I've read, I haven't read that series, but from what I've read about it, it's not great, but the completist in me really would like to see that licensed in English just so we can have everything. But yeah, I'm super excited. This is definitely one of the highlights for me from this, not just Anime Expo, but from the entire con season, because I'm a sucker, not just for deluxe edition hardcovers, but I am also a sucker for license rescues, and this is not the last one that we're going to see in this video. Next up, we have a couple coming from Eyes Press. Revenge of the Baskerville Bloodhound. The life of the Baskerville family are trained as loyal hounds from a young age, knowing nothing apart from a life of death and deception. After faithfully serving his family for 40 years, Vicar von Baskerville was rewarded with betrayal and execution by the hands of the man he called his father. But when he's given a second chance at life by being reborn with his memories of his past life intact, Vicar swears to have his revenge against the family he once served. Once again, he must survive the brutal life that awaits all the hounds of Baskerville, but this time he vows to bite the hand that feeds him. And then we got one more from Eyes, and that is Beatrice. Princess Beatrice of El Paso can do nothing but watch helplessly as Duke Alessandro of the Nosteros Empire invades her country and strips her of her status. But nobody could have predicted she would take to the hard labor like a fish to water. Having grown up as a commoner named Chloe, the former princess is quick to reclaim her identity and chop off her long locks, eager to get a fresh start to her second life. Her past is hard to escape, however, as her intellect and charm catches the eye of Duke Alessandro himself. Will she be able to hide her identity as Beatrice, or is she fated to meet her end by his sword? So that's it for Yen and Eyes, and then we're going to go ahead and get into some stuff from Kodansha, starting off with another return, another license rescue, Shugo Chara. It's been a long time since this one was published. If you're into magical girl titles, this is definitely going to be one for you. I'm sure you'll be excited about it. Amu Hinamori is known among her fellow elementary students as a cool girl with a spiky personality, but behind closed doors, she's actually extremely shy and wishes she could be brave enough to embrace her feminine cutesy side. Her wish is granted in the form of 3 character eggs that hatch into guardian characters. Mysterious entities that not only encourage her to achieve her potential, but can even power her up by granting special abilities. Together with the student council, Amu must use her newfound powers to stop the evil forces feeding on the darkness in people's hearts. And not only are they giving us a new release, the 20th anniversary edition of Shugo Chara, but we are also getting the recently released sequel series, Shugo Chara Jeweled Joker, which is still ongoing in Japan. Sugar and spice and everything nice, that may be what girls are made of, but Amu Hinamori is so much cooler, especially now that she's left behind her days at Seiyo Elementary and became a middle schooler. After transferring to Arcana Academy on a special assignment, her role as the Joker Guardian is to intervene in a crisis that is causing students to lose hope and confidence in themselves. But she has another more important secret mission to retrieve the all-powerful, mysterious Arcana jewels. With Shugo Chara coming back and also getting the sequel series, and then we also, from 7 Seas, had gotten Rosen Maiden, also from Peach Pit. I'm hoping that maybe we'll get some more classic Peach Pit series back in print, like Deers, which was formerly from Tokyopop, and then maybe a new edition of Zombie Lone. That was last published by Yen, but I believe it is a Square Enix series, so maybe they could pull a Soul Eater and do like hardcover editions while Yen keeps the paperback license. I don't know, but whatever the case is, this next one is another one of my absolute most anticipated for this entire con season, and that was Mars. The 30th anniversary edition hardcovers are coming from Kodansha, and I am so excited. Again, I love hardcover editions, and I also love seeing these license rescues, and Mars is one that has been requested for so long. They did mention themselves that this has been one of the absolute most requested titles to go from to get back in print. It's been digital only from Kodansha for a while. Anyway, they had to say about it, Kira's life has been marked by pain. Gang violence took her father when she was young, and her mother's remarriage only inflicted even more appalling scars. She has no trust left to offer the world, so when a ravishingly handsome boy asks her for directions one day, she draws a map and hands it to him without a word. On the other side of the map is one of her drawings, which catches the eye of the boy, a motorcyclist and professional model named Ray. When the two end up in the same class, an outrageous incident will bind them together, Ray promising to model for Kira in exchange for more of her art. But Ray has also suffered a family tragedy that has worn down his temper to a short, flashing fuse. Can these two damaged souls with nowhere else to turn kill each other, or will they burn themselves out first? Upon its English release in 2002, Mars quickly became one of the best-selling shoujo manga of all time, on par with Nana. But this beloved classic has been out of print for decades until now. Kodansha is bringing Mars back for its 30th anniversary with an all-new translation in collectible 2-in-1 hardcovers featuring glittering metallic covers and new cover illustrations from creator Fuyumi Soryo. So this will be 8 volumes total. I haven't checked recently, but last I checked a few days ago, we don't know the price point. I don't think that pre-order's up yet, but I'm pretty sure it's not going to be the big 7x10 size. It'll probably be like the same size as what Vinland Saga was originally published in before it got the deluxe treatment. Anyway, speaking of deluxe volumes, in addition to Mars getting reprinted, we also have a new edition coming for Ghost in the Shell, the Legacy Edition manga box set, coming out in February of next year. All 3 volumes are reproduced in a high-quality hardcover right-to-left manga format, with all the pages included in the latest version currently in print in Japan, which I believe means that this is going to be the original edition, like uncensored. But saying it that way with all the pages included in the latest version currently in print in Japan makes me feel like it's not like 100% the original, and there might still be a little bit that's different from when it first came out. But anyway, if you know what I'm talking about. If you don't, I don't really want to mention it here because it's about a explicit sexual scene. So I'm not going to go into depth without getting in trouble, basically. A premium slipcase featuring 2 brand new illustrations by author Shiro Masamune, created specifically for this box. 1 new piece and 10 posters from the rare limited edition 1997 Cyber Deluxe box set, never before released in English, reproduced in new versions featuring a staggering range of special print effects, including etched metallic paper, vinyl stock, and holographic spot cloths. The new 10-inch wide poster comes rolled, not folded, thank goodness, and packed in a rigid box inside the slipcase for added protection. A set of multicolored Fujikoma robot stickers, also from Cyberdelics, a double-sided poster with Shiro Sensei's explanation of his artistic process, and the poster art, never before translated into English. So this is going to be a really nice set for fans of Ghost in the Shell who have never picked up this series before, especially for y'all who have never picked it up. But if you're a massive fan and you want to have the original version, you want to have all those extras, a lot of really cool sounding extras, then this is going to be there for you. It does have a pretty steep price point at $140 for 3 hardcovers, but for the right people, that price point is definitely going to be worth it. And I'm the type of person that's kind of teetering on, like, do I want to trade up? Because I have the first box set with the 3 individual volumes, but I do like posters and stickers and all of the extra stuff that they're talking about. So that is very exciting. Anyway, then we got some more licenses from Kodansha, some new titles coming out. In a distant corner of the, this is Galaxius, by the way, of the Laniakea Kingdom, humans live alongside powerful beings with strange tales known as dragonfolk. A girl named Gio, whose father has forbidden her from leaving the remote island where they live, yearns to escape the confines of this quiet countryside and explore the world. Everything changes in the moment when Gio meets the mysterious Nereid, who claims to have lost all his memories. The revelations keep coming as Gio realizes that her father kept her hidden because the whole world is hunting her, setting Gio and Nereid on a path to find the world's most intrepid explorer, Yuri Holst. Could this living legend be the solution to Gio's problems? Strange lands and uncharted waters await. Let the grand adventure begin. And then we've got Omori, which is an adaptation of the 2020 role-playing game of the same name. Teenage Sunny, a nonverbal shut-in, or hikikomori, dealing with the death of his older sister, leaves the house for the first time in years when his old friend Kel appears suddenly on his doorstep. At the same time, Sunny's dream world alter ego Omori embarks on a quest with Kel and their friends Aubrey and Hiro to search for Basil, a missing member of their group. Together, the party must navigate the perils of this strange world as well as their complicated feelings and repressed memories to move forward and find what they've lost. And then another one coming out is Fruit of the Underworld by Ayakano. This is the creator of Requiem for the Rose King. Ever since the day Seiji climbed down a creepy dark well as a kid to retrieve a wayward ball and picked up an odd-looking pomegranate, he's had to dodge an unending stream of near-fatal accidents and push everyone around him away except for his best friend Haru. But all that changes when their high school bus crashes, killing everybody on board but Seiji. Suddenly, rumors from his childhood about that fateful well reaching into the depths of the underworld take on a whole new light, and Seiji is launched into an epic adventure to save his friend and his own soul. I'm really excited about this one, and also, as a side note, reading this, you can have a good idea of how different one creator's work can be when they're working in different demographics and stuff, because this is a shonen title, but Ayakano has done, I think, exclusively shoujo in the past, so you can look back at her older works and compare it to this to see like what difference demographic really makes on a creator's work. Anyway, moving on to the next one, we've got Wicked Spot by Sao Jiang. After spending over a century hiding in the shadows, powerful sorceress Sadako stumbles upon the dazzling world of social media and decides to post her way into her first real contact with humanity. She soon becomes an internet sensation, attracting huge following of doting fans and shocks them all by announcing she is a witch. The big reveal turns one follower called Hanako, a lovely young woman with seemingly inhuman strength and a curious resistance to magic, into a dedicated hater, and inadvertently sends them both on a whirlwind adventure beyond their wildest dreams. From popular Yuri author Sal Jiang comes a fun, sexy, and free-spirited tale of modern-day magic. Then we've got a Josei mystery title next up, Drawing from Your Memory. Mahoru Haruta is a manga artist whose first series became a huge bestseller. Her publisher expects her sophomore effort to be even better. There's just one problem. Mahoru has no idea what to draw next because she plagiarized the story that skyrocketed her to stardom from a high school classmate named Yukishima, who shared a few precious months with Mahoru in the school's manga club before passing away and leaving her his notebook filled with all his story ideas. When, after a strange encounter, Mahoru wakes up 10 years in the past, around the time of her first meeting with Yukishima, she realizes this could be her chance to redeem herself, erase her regrets, and maybe even save Yukishima's life. Then we've got a short 5-volume shoujo rom-com next up, Love at First Memory, from the creator of Bride Boss Days. Mia Takanashi, heiress to the famed Takanashi Group, has had the world at her feet since birth. With the future of the company to think about, deciding on a marriage partner early would have its advantages. However, just as Mia set her heart on one of several charming suitors, amnesia from a freak car accident sets her back to square one. Four wildly different boys appear before her, claiming to be her intended fiancé, but which one of them did Mia ultimately choose? She may just have to fall in love all over again to find out. Next up from Kodansha is Kiryu Fan Club. For Aimi and Nami, the answer is to cry tears of joy for being able to pinpoint at a distance the object of their affections, Kiryu, from a single toot. These are the kinds of deep philosophical questions the two friends/rivals in romance pose to each other to prove their love for this boy who hardly seems to know they exist. That won't stop them from conducting nightly rituals to entice him into their dreams, though, or listing out what exactly they like about him, down to the very last organ. But when push comes to shove, will they choose their hilarious friendship over a shot at love? Then next up, we've got Hitting Rewind with You. This is an ongoing shoujo rom-com. Wakaba Kayano is a 20-year-old college student who was too busy studying in high school to experience the quintessential personal milestones of her teenage years, like going on an after-school date. In a moment of desperation, she goes out on Halloween in her old high school uniform in an effort to take back some of those heart-fluttering experiences she never had, and in doing so encounters Fumito, a boy clad in the quintessential high school boy uniform. Whisked away on the date of her dreams, she panics when forced to reveal her true age, only to find out that Fumito is in college too. Love Out on a Limb. From the acclaimed shoujo creator of Those Not So Sweet Boys, Love and Focus, and The Wolf Boy Is Mine comes a new high school manga filled with taboo thoughts and curiosities. This love triangle is not so simple. After her divorced parents remarry, Yui is returns to her hometown for the first time in 8 years. She's not seen her older brother Hayato during that time, so she is amazed to see how popular and grown up he has become. She also bumps into her childhood friend Ritsu, who she remembers as a crybaby and almost doesn't recognize him. Now living with her brother again, she can't help but notice her heart fluttering with each interaction. Does this mean she might like him? Knowing how taboo these thoughts are, Ritsu suggests he and Yui date as a way to nip her feelings for Hayato in the bud. Yet this family tree might not actually be as simple as it seems. And then we've got Perfectly Fine on My Own, So My Fiancé Can Twist in the Wind. Noble young lady Nicole has had her heart broken more times than she can count. Her fiancé Chaos is so devoted to Princess Caroline, his childhood friend and the unrivaled belle of their aristocratic academy, that he seems to forget Nicole even exists. But no longer. Tired of waiting around and conforming to Chaos's needs, Nicole makes a most liberating decision. Will give up on love and go it alone. Her arranged marriage may be unavoidable, but that doesn't mean she can't enjoy her own life, right? Emboldened and excited, Nicole begins to shine as she never had before, so brightly, in fact, that even the clueless Chaos can't help but notice. Next up is Marrying the Dark Knight for Her Money. Clarice's younger sister is her whole world. In a world of monsters born into a noble family that's gone broke, there's nothing Clarice wouldn't do for her. So when she gets sick and there's only one way to save her, Clarice doesn't blink. She agrees to an arranged marriage with the Dark Knight, a ferocious warrior who goes everywhere in magical armor, even their wedding. Afterward, Clarice is ready to consummate the marriage and charm her new spouse into paying to save her sister's life. There's only one problem. The Dark Knight won't let her into the bedroom, and Clarice finally finds out why. She's secretly a woman. With female knights forbidden, the knights seriously lacking in social graces, a household full of servants scared out of their wits, and monster fights breaking out constantly, Clarice realizes that this wedding of convenience is going to be more inconvenient than she bargained for. All right, we're in the last handful of Kodansha licenses. I didn't realize I forgot they had so many from Anime Expo. But next up is the Boys Love series Voices in the Seafoam. I think this is just a single volume. For years, Aito thought he was just a normal kid until the day he fell in love with a boy at school. Suddenly, a flood of memories comes rushing back, reminding him of his first life as the tragic little mermaid who risked everything for her prince, only to fade away into the foam. But memories aren't all that Aito inherits, as a mysterious power wrenches away his ability to speak or stand for his crush without agonizing pain. Ever since, Aito has sworn off love in self-defense, but a fateful encounter with his charming college classmate Toru might just irrevocably shake up his world. Next up is Blue Summer Haze. Makoto's favorite childhood memories are of playing baseball with his best friend and former teammate Shusuke, the catcher of his baseball team. When Shusuke suddenly moves away, Makoto is left devastated but clings to the promise of the two of them someday reuniting at Koshien Stadium. Now in high school, Makoto is the star pitcher of his high school's baseball team, and he and Hokuto, the team's catcher, are an all-star duo. But one day, Shusuke suddenly transfers to Makoto's school, and now baseball isn't the only thing on the boys' minds under the scorching heat of the baseball diamond. Next up, What Have I Said? I Love You. Kazuho and Tokyo have been best friends since elementary school. As the years went on, Kazuho realized his feelings for Tokyo were more than just friends, and he began pulling away from Tokyo, desperate to keep his feelings a secret. While once close enough to give each other piggyback rides, the two boys, now high school students, pass each other in the hallway as the distance grows between them. But when Kazuho can't keep his feelings hidden from Tokyo any longer, will the two friends only continue to drift apart, or will it be the start to them experiencing the feelings of first love together? Then we've got Smells Like Green Spirit. Viciously bullied for being gay, junior high schooler Mishima struggles to belong in his hopelessly rural hometown. In fact, the only time he really feels alive is when he dolls himself up with a stolen tube of his single mother's lipstick. But that pocket of joy is forever changed when he loses the lipstick, only to find soccer team ace Kirino, one of Mishima's worst tormentors, trying it on in secret on their school roof. So begins a bittersweet summer of searching for a place where the two can be their true selves, but Pandora's box is not always so easily open. And the last one from Kodansha from Anime Expo this year was Honeybee and Lemon Balm. Kaoru Mitsuya has all but given up on living a meaningful life. Ensnared at a young age by the temptations of organized crime, he has neither a penny to his name nor anything he holds truly dear. It is at this lowest point that he encounters Yuichiro Shirozu, a delicately beautiful florist with a secret or two hidden beneath his kind demeanor. When Yuichiro offers Kaoru a job at his nighttime flower shop, it marks a turning point for Kaoru, both in how he lives his life and whom he wishes to spend it. So that's it, finally, for Kodansha. I forgot that they had so many things at Anime Expo, and they do have stuff at both San Diego Comic-Con and at Anime NYC as well, but not nearly as many licenses, which, looking back, I feel like unless there was an obligation for them to announce at that convention, I feel like they could have spread those out a little bit more evenly. But we're moving into Manga Mavericks books. This is a newer publisher that popped up this year based from originally a podcast. They still do the podcast, but the guys that do the podcast started getting into publishing manga as well. They've already released their first few titles, and here is the next round of titles that they've got coming up, starting with I'll See You at Ebisu Studios. At Ebisu Studios, run-of-the-mill animator Inojima is troubled. His favorite soda is missing from the company vending machine, and the young production assistant Kana won't stop confessing his love every chance he gets. It's a one-sided workplace romance, or will their relationship move forward frame by frame? I think this one was a one-shot, but it also says one on it, so it might be an ongoing title, or at least a longer title. Then their next one is First Time in Taiwan, A Delicious Adventure. This one also, I believe, is a one-shot. Told through the visage of cute animal avatars, this delicious manga travelogue follows the journey of a mangaka and friends as they explore Taiwan via both illustrations and photography. Readers can pull up a chair and enjoy the deliciousness in this release without the need to worry about calories. Then their next one is Great Metal God. Another one-shot, jump into the cockpit of a sci-fi-like fairy tale of colossal portions. In Great Metal God, an unknown steel visitor descends from the heavens, leaving destruction in its wake. Mankind's struggles are in vain before the metal marauder. However, salvation comes from an unlikely source, an ancient ritual and a young girl's resolve. Told almost completely without text, instead utilizing page after page of incredible artwork, readers will fall to their knees before the Great Metal God's advent. Definitely looking forward to this one. And then the last one that they had at Anime Expo was Princess Dawang and Other Tales by Otori. In the whimsical, beautiful, and very dangerous world of Princess Dawang, humans live alongside bizarre creatures. This anthology spins several fairy tale-like stories where ordinary people and the supernatural intersect. From puppets with minds of their own to bizarre dragons with human faces, each page of this beautifully illustrated anthology will surprise and delight readers. So that's everything from Manga Mavericks for Anime Expo. They do have more stuff in this video. If you've never heard of them, you can go check out their website, mangamavericks.com, I believe. And they have a shop on there with their current releases available. I've picked up 2 out of the 3 that they did themselves, and they have a few that are in collaboration with Red String. And I've really enjoyed what I've read. Great quality from their books. I cannot wait to see these next ones that are coming out, and I can't wait to see what they have in store in the future, because I know I talked to the guys at Anime NYC this past weekend, and they all just told me, we've got more stuff coming up. We've got, we're going to go get some new licenses soon, and a lot of stuff they're excited about. They mostly are doing independent things that like most other publishers aren't touching. So it's cool because they are kind of filling a void for the English language manga industry that other publishers are not usually, touching on. Next up, we've got, I think, just one license from Titan Comics. Titan's been making some moves with their manga recently, picking up big licenses. Like they've got Sanda comes out in September. I got an early review copy. It's a lot of fun. And then they also have the license for Aoashi coming out later in the year. So they've got a lot of cool stuff. And this is one that I'm really excited about. They announced 5-star stories from Mamoru Nagano. From legendary designer who worked on Mobile Suit Zeta Gundam comes the iconic sci-fi manga that has been published in New Type magazine for nearly 40 years. Set across 4 major planetary systems, the story follows Amaterasu, the immortal emperor of the Greece kingdom, destined to rule the Joker system, and his bride Lachesis. So I'm very excited about this one. This is going to be a long-running title for them, but I'm a huge fan of this type of work, these big sci-fi mecha titles. So I cannot wait to see it translated into English and see how their edition looks. Moving on, another newish publisher, we've got something from Inklore. Ellis Seed Volume 1 is the first of their licenses. Jiwoo is a kind-hearted young man who harnesses the lightning-quick reflexes of a cat to secretly make the world a better place, one saved little child or foster pet at a time. Caden is a secret agent on the run who finds himself stuck in the body of a decidedly fat, old, fluffy cat. That's how the blurb is written. Together, armed with Jiwoo's superpowers and Caden's uber smarts, they're out to fight those forces who would let evil rule this world. That is, if they can stand each other long enough to get the job done. Then next up, they've got I Love You, spelled Y-O-O. Dogged by pain and misfortune from the very beginning, Shin-Ai decides she wants nothing to do with people nor anything to do with romance. Although content with her unsocial, boring, loveless existence, her lifestyle is challenged after she ruins an unsuspecting stranger's clothes. This one is set to come out in 2027. The last one was fall 2026. And this next one is also a 2027 title, Midnight Poppyland. After making a grisly discovery in the countryside, a small town book editor's life gets entangled with a young mafia lord and his intimidating bodyguard, even as every step she takes draws her deeper into the dangerous underworld of the city. So that's it for Inklore this time. And then we've got one from Kuma, which is Denpa's BL publishing line. And that is Fukutsu no Zono. I know this is a big get for the BL fans. Detto and delinquent Zono are merely opponents, but then Detto discovered Zono's weakness. If his neck is touched, Zono will let out erotic sounds. Hearing Zono's erotic moans, Detto's lower body reacted and left him confused. One day, Detto ran into Zono, who was beaten into a pulp by his father, despite being very strong in fighting. Detto rushed in to rescue Zono, and why was Zono wearing fancy, cute-looking clothes? So that's the only one from Kuma this time. Next up, we have several titles coming from Square Enix, starting with a Starlit Darkness Volume 1. Japan, early 20th century, Subaru Karasuma, an aspiring writer with dashed ambitions, neck deep in loans, he has no hope of paying back, decides it's time to draw the curtains on his miserable life. Before he can follow through on his dark intent, he's diverted by the spectacle of a neighbor working frenetically with his literary group to meet the deadline for a work commissioned by Geppo Yagida, a rich and famous novelist. When the devilishly handsome, fiercely talented Geppo lays his eyes on Subaru, the latter's life is set on a new course, but the new path he's now treading seems to lead even ever deeper into the darkness. And so we've got Betrothed to a Fox Demon, and I just realized, this long into the video that I had the little box in the corner that said Omnibros Live. If you're unfamiliar, I do live streams on Thursday nights over on the channel, the Omnibus Collectors Network. We call the videos Omnibros Live. We have several videos a week, but Thursdays are when I'm always on. So if you'd like to tune into some live streams, I guess this was inadvertently a great way for me to tell y'all to check out the live channel, but I'll remove that from the top corner of the video from here out. Apologies for that one. Anyway, Betrothed to a Fox Demon. For 1,000 years, the exorcists of the Kyogane clan have dedicated their lives to eradicating the demonic specters that haunt Japan. Kuro Kyogane, the current clan head, has no interest in getting married and producing an heir at his age, but once his family arranges a suitable bride in the bright and optimistic Fuyu, he agrees to fulfill his obligations. What Kuro doesn't know yet is that his wedding ceremony conceals a dark secret, and once Fuyu is declared his wife, she may never be safe from harm again. Then next up from Square Enix, we have The Prince's Keeper. Miranda is a reclusive apprentice witch who runs a shop selling magical potions and enchanted trinkets in a quiet corner of the capital city. One day she receives an invitation to a tea party at none other than the royal palace itself. There she meets the third prince, only he's been cursed and turned into a cat. Ordered to serve as Prince Heinrich's keeper, Miranda suddenly finds herself the caretaker of a royal feline. What happens when a handsome prince becomes a witch's pet? Next up, we've got A Cat is a Cat in Any Life, Volume 1. A fateful encounter kicks off an adventure for a cat reborn in a world with no cats. Tragedy strikes a kitty in our world, and she gets a second chance at life in a fantasy world. A hero heading home after battling a demon king crosses paths with a mysterious creature. What is this fluffy new friend, and should she pet the belly? An array of Fantasyland adventures learn about snack time toe beans and that eyeballs can be toys. When the knight captain's folded-eared cat meets the hero's cat, paw-to-paw combat breaks out between fuzzballs. Then the hero winds up working part-time at a cat cafe with the Demon King. Cuddle up with a four-legged companion and enjoy this once in a reincarnated lifetime furry fantasy. Next up is Otaku X Gal. Teased for his nerdy hobbies in middle school, Koichi Odakura has entered high school with every intention of blending into the background. But when Yua Narumi, the popular girl who sits behind him in class, discovers his hidden talents, she begs him to help her keep up with the latest fashion trends. After all, aren't the skills required to draw anime fan art and paint plastic models totally applicable to designing nails and styling hair? Who says otakus and gals can't get along these days? Then we've got my favorite VTuber is Scary IRL. Being a delivery boy for Delivery Eats in a rural town isn't so bad, but one regular customer is a big challenge. She's a scary lady who looks intimidating and glares at the delivery boy every time he shows up at her door. Being an introvert, he can't help but run away as soon as the job is done. But one day, the scary lady finally speaks. Wait, is that the voice of his favorite VTuber? And one more manga coming from Square Enix is A Howl at the Heart. Uru and Tenyo are two elite soldiers with a bond that runs deeper than blood. Living together and fighting side by side has only heightened their affection for one another, but in a world ravaged by war, connections can be severed in an instant. When Uru loses his life, he leaves Tenyo behind with nothing but a final kiss goodbye. After 2 years of mourning, Tenyo sneaks into the enemy general Kakezuki's territory with the intent of finishing off, as promised to Uru. But when he gets there, he finds that the enemy looks exactly like his dearly departed brother-in-arms. There's no way Uru is still among the living, or is there? And they also had a few other books. We've got Final Fantasy VII Rebirth Material Ultimania, Final Fantasy IX Picture Book, and the Nier Poster Collection. And that brings us to Tokyopop, who had several new ones as well that they announced at AX. The first of which was In So Deep, It's Already Love. A heartbroken fangirl meets a shy transfer student who reminds her of her favorite idol. When she uncovers his secret, her quiet high school life takes a dramatic romantic turn. Then next up, we've got Ayaka is in love with Hiroko. Two office coworkers fall for each other, but each thinks their love is unrequited. This popular GL has also been adapted into a live-action series in Japan. Next up, Walking in Your Tracks. Kizaki Ren has driven away every caretaker until Maki Rintaro arrives. Ren, bitter and isolated from the accident that left him paralyzed, slowly opens up to Maki's quiet persistence and warmth, a moving BL drama to tug at readers' heartstrings. Then we've got The Tale of Luvelia Kingdom. Alois, an imperial guard and royal descendant, is ordered by the emperor to marry Elena, the former fiancée of the crown prince, a romantic tale of duty, sympathy, and learning to love. Then we've got Bride of Ignat by the creator of Touch Within the Abyss. Rita, a lonely boy from a poor village, is chosen as the sacrificial dragon's bride, only to be rescued by the dragon instead. A gentle and beautiful BL romantasy that will thaw the most frozen of hearts. And then next from Tokyopop is Apprentice Nail Artist in a Foreign Land. Keiko Sahara, an office worker with a passion for cute gel nails, is suddenly transported into a magical world where nail art determines magical power, a fun and original isekai fantasy. And then we wrap up Tokyopop with I Picked Up a No Good Useless Prince. As much fantasy romance as it is cozy slice of life, this story offers a unique twist on the prince and commoner relationship. A cute and quirky fantasy romance about a banished, spoiled prince and the innkeeper who takes it upon herself to improve him. Now we're going to wrap up Anime Expo with a few things from Inkpop. This is another very new publisher. And the first thing from them we've got is Our Aimless Nights. Who says love can't bloom in the dark? Two teen opposites fall for each other during quiet nights at a convenience store. Peppy high school girl Chika and quiet boy Waya seem like they have nothing in common. However, they share a secret. They meet every week outside the convenience store where Waya works. Slowly, the two start learning more and more about each other. Before either of them knows it, something begins to bloom between them in the moonlight. And then we've got School Bus Graveyard. Ashlyn is a loner in high school with no friends, but when a fateful visit to a haunted house causes her and her classmates to see monsters at night, she'll be forced to forge bonds to survive. This one was completed with 96 chapters across 2 seasons. And then we've got Brass and Sass. It may have been the music that attracted her to band class, but it was love that made her stay, even if she doesn't have any musical talent whatsoever. But what high schooler Camilla lacks in ability, she makes up for in passion, especially when it comes to Victor, the handsome musician who's caught her eye. Will love rule the day even when your crush of choice is a real brass hole? This one might just be 1 volume because it was wrapped up in 8 chapters. And then our last license for Anime Expo was Swimming Lessons for a Mermaid. Choa is a mermaid who can't swim. Discouraged, she trades the ocean for a pair of human legs, but when the star of the high school swim team finds out her secret, he offers her the chance to prove her family wrong. Free swimming lessons for a mermaid. This one was also short. It was only 9 chapters, so it might be a single volume. We've been going in this video for almost an hour, for about 50 minutes, and we're finally at San Diego Comic-Con. But I can tell you that there are, I think, everything from SDCC plus everything from Anime NYC together doesn't even add up to as much as there was at Anime Expo. But we're starting off San Diego Comic-Con with more new stuff coming from Kodansha, and it starts off with something that I am extremely excited for, and that I think was pretty obviously going to happen, and that is Witch Hat Atelier getting deluxe edition hardcovers. They are calling these the Grimoire editions. This deluxe keepsake quality hardcover edition includes 3 volumes of the acclaimed fantasy manga on which the enchanting anime was based. Experience the beautiful tale of a young witch who discovers her creativity and faces down a dangerous and thrilling world with her friends by her side in these extra large books printed on premium paper with intricate gold foil covers and exclusive bonus content. So this includes the first 3 volumes of Witch Hat. It will take us, it's still an ongoing series, but it will take us 5 of those to before we get caught up. I think we have 14 like just came out or something. I've got my books on the shelf over here. I think 14 either just came out or is about to come out. So it'll take 5 before we encompass everything we have in paperback. No telling if they'll also do the kitchen spinoff. But I'm extremely excited. This is a series that like I've wanted to have in large hardcovers for a long time because the artwork really deserves that kind of treatment. And also, whenever this was announced for, I think France is where they got this. Yeah, because it's in France. It's in French, the cover that they're showing. I was like, oh, they obviously need to do this. They also already announced that they're doing the Witch Hat art book, which I believe will be in the same trim size. So if you get the art book, it will go really nicely in your collection alongside these hardcovers. Anyway, next up we have the Blue Lock Omnibus editions. These are going to be paperback 3-in-1 releases. So it's an ongoing series, but it'll take 12 omnibus to catch up, with each of them being 3. No telling how long the series is going to be. We are getting the series monthly right now until they catch up. And I think that depending on how fast they release these omnibus editions, they might catch up to the these paperback releases within not too long, like maybe a couple years or so. I don't know. I'm kind of making that up as I go along, but because I don't even remember what the release schedule for these is going to be. But if you're interested in Blue Lock, you haven't picked it up yet, this is going to be a good, usually these are value priced. They are cheaper than buying the individual volumes. I don't think we know the price just yet. That's why it has TBA next to the $sign there. But it should be a good value for someone who hasn't picked up the series yet. Also, we've got another re-release. Attack on Titan is getting a definitive hardcover release. I believe these are going to be $55. And going back, yeah, I believe these are going to be $55. The price may have been revealed since, but I just don't remember. The global hit manga returns in a massive new deluxe edition, including 3 volumes in 1 hardcover book featuring faux leather cover, full gold foil stamping, library-style binding, and color pages that aren't even included in the Japanese editions. So there should be 12 of these to cover the entire series. And if they do these the same as they did the omnibus paperbacks, then it will be 10 3-in-1s and then 2 2-in-1s. I would prefer, fingers crossed, that they do a 4-in-1 hardcover. We know they're very capable of doing so. They just released the 900 plus page Mobile Suit Gundam The Origin hardcover. So I would rather have that than it be an exact mirror to the paperback omnibus editions. But this is going to be great. It's not the first time that we've had this in an oversized format like this. We do have the Colossal Edition paperbacks, but this in a hardcover edition is going to be much nicer. And I'm sure that the build, whenever they do reveal it, just by the description that they're giving, it's going to be fantastic. So I cannot wait to see what they have in store for this release. Now they had some more new licenses as well, starting off with Dragon Circus. Not nearly as many new licenses as they had at Anime Expo. So don't worry, I'm not going to be dragging on so long with Kodansha this time. This is from Eiichi Shimizu, which is the writer, I think, of the Ultraman series, if I'm correct. The sudden appearance of massive monsters known as dragons throws the world into chaos. The new United Nations, created as a response to the threat, puts together a team known as Dragon Slayers, including, among others, a vampire, an android, a witch, an animated remains of the legendary ogre Shutendoji, and a little girl. Ace Pilot Momo may still be in grade school, but she just might have the skills to save humankind. This sounds like a ton of fun, so I am definitely going to be picking this one up. Then we've got Stella Must Die, from creator of Princess Resurrection and Time Stop Hero. After losing her father, the King of Hill Valley, Princess Stella is thrown into the middle of a succession crisis. Her stepsister Elucia wastes no time in trying to assassinate Stella and seize the throne, but all her attempts mysteriously go awry. Little does anyone know that the young princess has a hidden protector in the most unlikely of places. Then we've got Magical Karina, a new magical girl series. Karina never asked to be a magical girl. In fact, not even a few hours have passed since her dear grandmother's sudden death, when a boy meets her in the street and calls on her to transform. But how can a sarcastic teenager from a working-class family juggle her grief, her schoolwork, her waitressing job, and fighting death itself? Moving on into our next Kodansha title, we've got Whoever You Are, I Love You. Temp worker Yuki Sato is ready to settle down with the perfect man she met on a dating app until she discovers her fiancé may not be who he seems. When the beguiling Shun Majima confronts her with the details of the mysterious death of his brother Kosuke, Yuki finds herself torn between the man she thinks she loves and the handsome stranger whose revelations threaten to upend her life completely. Then we've got That's Not Love. Two female friends from the middle school reunite as adults in this hard-hitting and personal drama manga. What begins as idle reminiscing leads to painful revelations as they heal the reopened wounds of their past in this highly anticipated first print release from the creator of 11/22 for a Happy Marriage. Next from Kodansha, we have Lonely Deaths Lie Thick as Snow, from the team behind best-selling manga My Dearest Self with Malice Aforethought. A routine call regarding a burglary at an empty mansion leads cocky young police detective Jin Seiki to a gruesome and shocking discovery. The corpses of 13 children, along with the presence of a strange symbol, spur a manhunt for Juzo Haikawa, the mysterious absentee owner of the house. So begins an investigation and an obsession that will take Jin all over Japan and into the darkest recesses of both the past and the human soul. Then we've got Cat Life Balance, very different from the last couple ones that we've been reading about. In this office romance manga with a feline twist, a people pleaser teetering on the edge of burnout discovers his antisocial coworker's secret. She only smiles when she's playing with stray cats. Now he's got a choice: keep up the facade and keep saying yes to every extra task and happy hour, or risk his perfect work image to sneak off for some simple, frisky fun. And we end Kodansha this time with Cheese Sweet France, a coda that picks up exactly where the main series left off, with Chi and family in Paris. Chi and her human family have moved to Paris, but even before the boxes are unpacked, relocate to burbs just so the cat may still venture outdoors. And now we've got more coming from Manga Mavericks books. They had a couple new announcements this time. First up is Path from Tanuki Temple, Volume 1. Tanuki are magical creatures that are able to take the shape of humans. In a hidden village of Tanuki, tucked away from mankind, lives Princess Kikyo. Bored with her leisurely days in the lap of luxury, she takes her yearning for adventure on the road with a dancer named Yugao. However, the human world isn't all sunshine and rainbows, and Kikyo is going to need more than her wits and scrappiness to survive. This will be a full-color series. As you can see at the top of the cover, it does say color manga. Their other one is Pipe Machine. Saburo is a normal kid, or at least he tries to be, but the bazaar finds its way to him with alarming precision. First, a weirdo with a samurai haircut clad in just undies is hanging around his town when his grandfather builds an honest-to-God time machine that looks like a giant metal smoking pipe. A quick test of the pipe time machine flings the poor boy into the outer realms of space, where robots, space captains, and a girl who looks very similar to a friend at home await him. Keep all limbs in the pipe and prepare for a funny, fast-paced, and very bizarre adventure in the Pipe Machine. I'm definitely looking forward to both of those from Manga Mavericks. And we've got one from another new publisher, Kodama Tales, who, if you're unaware, they are the ones that are releasing Baki the Grappler, which is coming out in October. They're doing 2 volumes of Baki every month. And they're both 2-in-1, so two 2-in-1s every single month. So it's going to be going for quite a while. And at the panel that they had about Baki at San Diego Comic-Con, they did say that the plan is to do one part every year. So for this first year, they'll cover the first part and keep going like that every year until they're caught up. So hopefully that all works out, especially for the big Baki fans out there who've been waiting for this series to get put out in English. Hopefully this works out for them and they make enough money to follow through with this entire venture. But in the meantime, it's been extremely exciting seeing what they have happening. And they announced a new license, Smiley, at San Diego Comic-Con. The story follows Yuushi Kamome, a grieving journalist whose life unravels after the death of his daughter and the disappearance of his wife. When two women from a cult-like group called the Smiling Heart Society show up at his door with a flyer featuring his missing wife's smiling face, Yuushi goes undercover to investigate. What begins with a slammed door and a disturbingly joyful scream spirals into a twisted descent filled with manufactured joy, cult manipulation, and psychological torment. Now, this is the only thing that they formally announced this summer, but there are some other things coming from them. I think they might have done a couple of actual license announcements between this San Diego Comic-Con and Anime NYC, but the one big one, the really big one that I know a lot of people are going to be excited about, they do have Sunken Rock coming from Boichi. So if you've been waiting for Sunken Rock, big news, that one's coming. But that's it for the San Diego Comic-Con license announcements. There's one more thing that I wanted to mention from San Diego, and that is something interesting for Astro Boy by Osamu Tezuka. So on the Conserving Comics and Manga through Deluxe Editions panel from San Diego Comic-Con, Dark Horse's Michael Gombos let slip that they have something interesting happening soon with Tezuka's Astro Boy. Is that going to be Deluxe Edition hardcovers? I don't know. I'm hoping so. It's one that I've had on my wish list for a while. And if that does happen, then I will have 7 out of the 10 titles that I had in my top 10 most wanted video from 2021 will have gotten deluxe editions. So very exciting. Also, additionally, at the same panel, unrelated to this, Ben Applegate from Penguin Random House and Kodansha mentioned the changing colors of the Vinland Saga hardcovers were controversial, like the way that they have every 2 volumes a different color, but he did say that they were all specifically themed. The red ones are for the Prologue of Revenge, black for the Period of Despair, green for New Growth, and the last 2, volumes 9 and 10, will be gold to symbolize matured wheat. So if you've been picking up those deluxe hardcovers and have been curious what the last 2 are going to look like, they should be a gold color. So we're going to be ending on the 10th hardcover, which I don't know when 9 is coming out, but it might be a little bit because the series just wrapped up. Anyway, that's it for San Diego Comic-Con. Next up, we're going to talk about Anime NYC, but I do want to give a shout out to the sponsor of this video and of this channel, Walts Comic Shop. Big thanks to Walts for sponsoring for so long. Now, Walts is a fantastic shop that is located in the EU. They're located specifically in Berlin, Germany. They sell manga with great prices. They have a great selection. They have great customer service and shipping. And they also sell comics and stuff. Now, I love to have Walts as a sponsor for this channel because I know that while the majority of my viewers are located with me here in the US and we have access to all kinds of shops, I do most of my manga shopping these days from In-Stock Trades or Alibris, but we have other options like the Crunchyroll store, Barnes & Noble, Books A Million, all kinds of different places is the point. In the EU, you might not have as many options of where to buy your English language manga with great prices and all that, but Walts can definitely help you out with that. So if you are a viewer from the EU and you're looking for somewhere to buy your manga from, I highly recommend checking out waltscomicshop.com. And if you are shopping with them for your first time, you can use code TheOmnibusCollector to get free shipping within the EU on your first order of €40 or more. Again, that's The Omnibus Collector at checkout on your first order of €40 or more, and you can get free shipping within the EU. So thank you again to Walt's Comic Shop, and thanks for all of y'all for checking them out. I have a lot of viewers who have commented multiple times about Walt's being a great shop for them, that they're really happy that they heard about them from me. So Thanks again to Waltz, and we're going to continue on with the video going into Anime NYC. We're almost done here. Anime NYC had some really great stuff, not quite as many licenses as AX did, but some really exciting stuff nonetheless. And we're actually going to start with something that was not at the convention. Kana, the manga imprint for Abrams Books, this is based on the French publisher Kana. They had one giant license that they announced before the convention. And of course, you may have already heard, but that is Billy Bat. So Naoki Urasawa's Billy Bat is finally coming into print, coming from Abrams and Kana, starting next June. They're going to be doing single volume releases. They're planning on doing 4 volumes per year, so it is going to take them 5 years to finish the 20 volume series. If you're completely unfamiliar with what Billy Bat is, Japanese-American comics artist Kevin Yamagata, who returns home after serving under the Allied forces in World War II. Kevin quickly becomes famous for his detective comic character, Billy Bat. However, his newfound success is soon overshadowed by a disturbing revelation. Billy Bat already exists in Japan. Fearing unintentional plagiarism, Kevin embarks on a journey to Japan to uncover the truth, only to find himself ensnared in a tangled web of murders, secret societies, and prophetic mysteries spanning millennia. So this is huge. There's been a lot behind the scenes with this series that has kept it from being licensed for a long time. There's been multiple publishers in English who have tried to pick up the license, have not been able to for one reason or another. Just know that there's a lot of sometimes kind of weird, inexplicable things that were keeping this from happening. And just know that there were multiple publishers trying to get this out and in print. I'm not sure what happened that made it where Kana was the one that was able to get this. I'm hoping to find out in the near future. But I'm excited to just know that it's happening, regardless of who it's from. I will say this, the one, like the slight, I don't want to look a gift horse in the mouth, but I am slightly disappointed because the trim size is going to be small. Like it's going to be smaller than your average like Shonen Jump or Shoujo Beat book, which is a little bit annoying because everything that we have of Urasawa at this point is available in like the larger trim size. Like we have the perfect editions for 20th Century Boys Monster, like we have for Pluto. So it is annoying that those won't line up on the shelf if you're like me and you keep certain creators' works all together. But I don't want to complain too much given the fact that, again, it's Billy Bat finally in English print, and that's massive. So huge news there. If you're someone that follows the Viz Media license announcement bingo streams that I do with friends each license announcement round, you'll know that we replaced the Not Kingdom with Not Billy Bat. I'm going to have to change that again, but I think this time I'm going to stop doing things that I don't think will happen, and I'm going to start doing things that I wish would happen. So we'll see what we change that to in the next license bingo stream in October. But without further ado, let's get into the actual Anime NYC licenses, starting with 7 Seas, who had a bunch of new stuff. They did have some novels and audiobooks, which I won't be mentioning in this video, but let's get into the manga. Starting off, we've got Dungeon Elf, What's a Dungeon Without Treasure Chests? Ever wondered how all those treasure chests seemingly appear in dungeons frequented by adventurers? See how one elf ensures every dungeon has its loot in this fantasy adventure manga. I think this one was recommended by the creator of Freerun, by the way. Then we've got a shonen rom-com series, A Prince of a Friend. An unpopular teen seeks dating help from his handsome childhood friend who happens to be a girl in this shonen rom-com manga. But will her hands-on approach to teaching him cause a rush of unexpected feelings? Then we've got Catnaps Everywhere by Pandania. Pandania is the creator responsible for like Cats with Jobs, Monster Cats, Yokai Cats, Evil Secret Society of Cats. All of those are from 7 Seas. And then Cthulhu Cat, which is the only Pandania thing not at 7 Seas, is being published by Dark Horse right now. Just a single volume though. So this is the next one up from Pandania. So if you enjoy those, if you enjoy a cute cat series, this is going to be for you. Return to the adorable world of Pandania in the newest cat comic. A box, a sunbeam, or a comfy lap. There are plenty of places to find a napping cat. Then one that I am extremely excited about. This is a Jump Plus series, Girl Meets Rock. Girls Just Want to Rock, the award-winning manga about a high school music club, is finally available in English print. I'm definitely looking forward to this one when it comes out next August. This is still ongoing. It's got 7 volumes already, but this is a big one. I'm hoping that, especially if you like music-based series like Bocchi the Rock and other things like that you will check this one out. Then next up, we got a deluxe edition release from 7 Seas, which doesn't happen too often, but they're doing one of my favorite licenses that they have, Die Dark. Die Dark Deluxe Edition Hardcover Omnibus Volume 1 will collect the first 3 volumes. Necromancy, space action, and dark humor collide in this wildly creative new manga from the creator of Dorohedoro, now in beautiful hardcover omnibus editions. So, first of all, I'm going to say I'm really anticipating seeing what they come up with as far as the design of this book. Their release of The Girl from the Other Side, the hardcover release they did, was absolutely stunning. It's one of the nicest looking hardcovers that I've ever seen any publisher do for manga. And the only downside on that one is that it's not the 7x10 trim size of like anything that Dark Horse is putting out or most of the other deluxe editions. And according to 7 Seas' website, this is also going to be the same trim size as Girl from the Other Side or any other classic collection hardcovers that they've done in the past. So it's not going to be 7x10, which is a little bit of a bummer, but at the very least, it is going to be bigger than the current paperback editions that they have out. And that means it's going to be the same trim size, the paper will be at least, as Dorohedoro. I'm very excited about that. I'm excited to see what kind of design they bring to this. And it's only so far going to be 2 volumes. It'll be volume 3 is where they'll be able to catch up with the paperback releases, but volume 9 of the paperbacks has not yet been released. So I don't know what the release schedule is going to be for this, but we'll see the first volume in March, so not too far out. Next, we have a long title, History of the Kingdom of the Orksen, How the Barbarian Orcish Nation Came to Burn Down the Peaceful Elfland, Volume 1. They had both. For this one, it was both the manga and the light novel. When their elven brethren betrayed her people, one dark elf chief will do whatever it takes to save her people, even if it means trusting orcs. I believe it was this one while I was on one of the aforementioned live streams over on the Omnibus Collectors Network. We were talking about all these new releases, and I apologize if you are watching this video as well, but one of my viewers on that video said that this one is really good. So I was already kind of wanting to check it out, but now I am more confident in my desire to check it out. Then next up, we've got How to Survive as a Maid in a Horror Game. When a player gets pulled into a deadly horror game and becomes the maid to the reincarnation of the devil, she only has one goal: survive. So this is going to be a webtoon series that is ongoing still since April of 2023. And then we've got some BL releases. His Little Amber. When the injured leopard cub he rescued 5 years ago grows into a handsome young man, former Yakuza Genji will have to face unfamiliar feelings in this mature-rated boys love manga. Next up for their BL line is going to be Dear Sister, I Become a Blessed Maiden. When one man takes his sister's place as a blessed maiden, his body becomes a magical tool for one arrogant sorcerer in this mature-rated boys love fantasy manga. And then one more BL is going to be Wild Love, a BL guide to the Animal Kingdom omnibus. Grab your field notes and get ready to learn about the Animal Kingdom in the sexiest way possible with boys love. And we can see here that it's got some snail boys up on the top, and some penguin guys over here, and some giraffe guys over here. From the rest of the description, I just gave the beginning of the blurb, but from the rest of the blurb for these, for this one, I think it's presented like a nature documentary, but you're watching animals portrayed by boys. Anyway, moving on, one more release from 7 Seas, and it's one of the ones I'm most excited about, and that, of course, Delinquent and the Transfer Student. A tough, no-nonsense delinquent and a sweet transfer student find a way to grow closer with a silly game in this sweet Yuri Girls Love romance manga. It's not a long series at all, but it's one that I've known about for a little while, like people talking about Yuri on like Twitter that they want to see picked up. This was one that was brought up where I was like, that's my vibe right there. Just the delinquent style and the artwork itself looks like something from like 80s manga, which is just like 80s or early 90s manga, which is very much my vibe. So I am very, very, very much looking forward to this one. And fun fact, the letterer for this one is also working on Billy Bat. I got to talk to him for a little bit at Anime NYC. He was very excited about both of these. Next up, we have a brand new publisher popping up, Crossed Hearts, and they had one announcement. Baroness Goes on Strike Volume 1. Although Baroness Cassia is on her deathbed, she's relieved that it means she's finally free from her loveless marriage to her mercenary husband, Zester. Oh, how she regrets her tireless efforts to keep his territory afloat. If only she had taken more time for herself. Her wish becomes reality when Cassia wakes up to find herself 10 years back in the past. With this second chance, she's determined to live a stress-free life. But can Cassia find the courage to rebel against Zester, or is she doomed to repeat her nightmare of a past life? And they also have all this stuff that's included. Early readers surprise gift, a pop-up card, limited photo card, journal pages for note keeping inside, and Creators Vault character spotlight. So there's some extra stuff that they're going to be doing that. This is the only license that Crossed Hearts has shown off so far, but I guess we'll stay tuned for what they have in the future. Next, one of my current favorite favorite publishers, Piao 2. They only just started dabbling in picking up like licenses from Japan. With last year they did Hibari-kun, and that's coming out late this year, I think in November. And then they announced, but they're my favorite because I love the design on all their books. They do a lot of comics and art books and stuff that are really fantastic. Go to their website, like I think it's you can just look up Piao 2 and check out all the stuff they've got. Really, really brilliantly designed stuff. And the like publisher at Piao, Patrick, also designed the recent box set of Scott Pilgrim. Fantastic design. He's very, very talented. So they had one license, and that was Kao Yokoyama's SF3D Chronicles and SF3D Original Reprint Edition. Kao Yokoyama's SF3D Chronicles are a series of 2 books titled Heaven and Land that collect the articles, the original articles from the Hobby Japan magazine showcasing Yokoyama's early SF3D, later known as Machinen Krieger, mecha designs from 1982 to 1985. The Heaven book features sky-related machines, while the Land book focuses on land-based designs, with each containing illustrations and sketches. So this is not exactly going to be like a manga, so to say, but it definitely is in line with other stuff that Piao has put out. But it's a very interesting license and something I'm very much looking forward to, and seeing all of these classic mecha designs from the 80s in a beautiful printed edition for English. So they're aiming for this one being out next winter, which is kind of in line with how long it took between the Hibari-kun license announcement and when the first volume of that one's coming out. Anyway, moving on, we got also one from Dark Horse, which they don't really do announcements at panels. So this was a really big surprise. I know my friend Will, you might know online as Fire Lunar. He is working in marketing at Dark Horse, and he said that he really pushed for them to make this announcement at the panel because he knows how much people love seeing big announcements at their convention panels. And so they did it, and they announced something very exciting, something that I've been really curious about for a while, and that is the credits roll into the sea, or as it was originally known in Japan, Umi ga Hashiru End Roll by John Tarashine. So this is a series that's going to be wrapping up pretty soon. It'll have like 9 or 10 volumes. For the first time in English comes the critically acclaimed manga from John Tarashine, the author of Witch of Thistle Castle, which is from Titan, I believe. Umiko, a grandma, realizes that she has the same desire to make movies as university student Kai, and soon she enrolls in Kai's film school. It's not the movies you like watching the people watching the movies. Just what are you going to do with the rest of your life? It's the question you'll always have to answer no matter your age. Umiko Chino is a 65-year-old retired woman in mourning for her late husband. Remembering how they used to watch films together, Umiko goes to the movie theater for the first time in years, where she meets Kai, an attractive, ambiguous young man who studies filmmaking at a nearby art school. So this was the only one that Dark Horse had at the convention, but they do apparently have a lot more soon that they're going to be announcing. As far as Will was able to say, he said hopefully within the next month, so in September. So look forward to more stuff from Dark Horse. Look forward to their what they post on socials and all that, because he's very excited about whatever they have coming out. So who knows what that's going to be. But next up, we get a lot of stuff coming from Yen Press, starting off with A Pen, Handcuffs, and a Common Law Marriage. 40-year-old detective Eiji Kirisame has found maybe the strangest witness of his life, a silent high school girl named Tsugumi Kuchinashi, who is at the scene of the crime. Her statements mostly consist of shoddy doodles on a drawing pad, but Eiji is no stranger to piecing together the truth from limited evidence. He'll take every page seriously if it might help solve the case. But why does the last page say, "Will you marry me?" Then we've got Bad Girl by Nikimaru. What does one do when you have a crush on the president of the Public Morals Club? Well, if you're first-year high school student Yu, the answer is turning to a life of delinquency. In a bid for the president's heart, Yu becomes a self-described bad girl, hoping to thrill and excite her crush, but Yu's adorableness, despite her best efforts, outshine any attempts to come off otherwise. And the president can't see past that tiny, adorable exterior. What's a girl got to do to get in trouble around here? Then next up, we've got Battlefront of the Green Powers. In the year 2206, planet Earth is on the brink of destruction due to a pollution and a shortage of resources. Scientists estimate that the planet will become unable to sustain life within the next 100 years. To resolve the issue of scarcity, the world's leaders have come together and decided on a desperate solution: the National Extinction Tournament. Gathering those with powers beyond human comprehension, these boys and girls will compete for the sake of their nations and their own survival. Win, become a hero, lose, and death awaits not only you, but everyone you love. Then next up, we have How to Love a Loser. Shinba has no talent, no job, no money. In short, he's got nothing going for him. But despite the odds, this good-for-nothing guy has a girlfriend. Hizumi is beautiful, smart, and extremely competent. Some might wonder how she could love such a loser. Well, it might have something to do with the way he tries his best, but still fails pathetically, or the way he quivers with tears in his eyes as he begs for another chance. But who's to say? Then we've got one more from Yen, and that is Sailor Zombie Complete Omnibus Edition. This is funny because on their website, on the calendar on their website, Sailor Zombie Volume 1 has just been floating around for months, and I was like, I don't know what this is. And now we finally have an official announcement. 2 months prior, hordes of zombies took over the world and ended it all in the blink of an eye. In the face of such despair, high schooler Maiko Inui and her peers are determined to survive. Armed only with the scavenger supplies and the clothes on their back, they wage war against the zombies who have taken everything from them. But an even greater danger stands before them, not the zombies, but the cruel humans shaped by this new world. Will Maiko and her friends ever reclaim their happy adolescent lives? All 4 volumes are in one complete omnibus edition for this release, and that ends Yen Press, and we can move on to Kuma, who had a couple more announcements at Anime NYC this year. So their first one was Takatora and the Omegas. The Omegaverse manga takes place at a special academy where the children of the elite gather. Within the academy, Takatora is part of the Alpha Special Class. He is heir to one of the most distinguished families and is known for his physique, intellect, handsomeness, and overwhelming charisma. There's no one at the academy who doesn't know him, but one day, Takatora's physical condition changes and he starts to exhibit heat symptoms of an Omega. And then they've also got Only My Psycho. This is District A, somewhere in Asia, where skyscrapers and slums coexist in a chaotic mix. Sakaki Takeru, who grew up in such a place, is scouted by an underworld organization's assassin squad, and under the guise of recruit training, becomes partners with Atonashi Isagi. Upon their first meeting, Takeru fell for Isagi's looks, gentle personality, and the fact that he's still a virgin. As a perfect match for both professionally and physically, they seem to be off to a smooth start until something happened that provoked Isagi's wrath. So that's all that Kuma had. Denpa was also at the panel, and they didn't announce anything new, but they did kind of re-announce, I think, Renjo Desperado, which was announced like 4 or 5 years ago, and they've just been working on that one since then. So that one is planned for a release, I think, late this year or early next year. I know that on their socials they've said that it's kind of the next in line in production. They've got a whole bunch of stuff that has been announced and they're just haven't released yet. So there's a lot for them, and I'm kind of glad that they didn't have a new license announcement so that they can keep chipping away at that list rather than adding to it. Now, Kodansha, and they only had 3 licenses, but one of them was a huge one, and that was Beck. 14-year-old Yukio Tanaka is one heck of a boring guy. He has no hobbies, weak taste in music, and only a small vestige of a personality. His shy and somewhat neurotic personality makes him his own worst enemy. Little does he know that his life will be forever changed when he meets rocker Ryusuke Minami, an unpredictable 16-year-old with a cool dog named Beck. Ryusuke has just returned to Japan from America, and when he inspires Yukio to get into music, the two begin a journey through the world of rock and roll dreams. Lace up your docks and head to the mosh pit. Harold Sakuishi's manga series that spawned the hit anime is back. So this is going to be 2-in-1 paperbacks based on the new edition that was put out in Japan. So it'll be 17 volumes long with new cover illustrations. This was never fully released in English, physically at least. The digital editions they did complete, but I think they only released about 2/3 of the series physically back when the license was with Tokyopop, and then Tokyopop lost the license and they couldn't wrap it up. So this is extremely exciting, and this is one that, like, a couple years ago when they announced Initial D, I went to their booth, Kodansha's booth, and I talked to Ben, who I'd mentioned a little earlier in the video, talking about the Vinland Saga hardcovers. And I told him, like, you know, I'm so excited about Initial D. I've been hoping this would happen. I've been wanting this for so long. And I said, but you know, the next one you have to do, like the next one that Kodansha's really got to get out there. And he was like, Beck. And I was like, yeah, like he knew exactly what I was going to say. And he's like, man, that is one of my favorite series of all time. I have like the collector's edition of the anime still on my shelf and yada, yada, yada. He's like, I've been asking, like I've been pushing for them to let us do that in new physical volumes for a long time. Hopefully it'll happen in the future. Obviously couldn't tell me one way or the other at the time, but here we are. And it's something that like they knew that I was really wanting, because one of the other people at Kodansha, Jorge, he saw me at Anime NYC this past weekend, and he's like, we don't have a lot, but we've got one that's really big and that I know you're going to love. And immediately I was like, the only thing I could think of that anyone at Kodansha would know that I would want is Beck, like something they would consider a big license. So they knew that I was very excited to see this happen, and I am very excited. This is like one of the at the top of my list, and they did say this was one of the most requested, along with Mars and Mushishi, that this was at the top of the most requested. So it's very cool, like just from this summer of licenses that they've put out, that we're seeing more of those digital only titles, those that were stuck in digital jail, kind of get released and put out into print. And I'm hoping that the trend does not stop, because we've had not just this summer, but we have, you know, Dragon Head is coming back in a little bit. We had Initial D already is still being printed. So I'm hoping for other big things. I know, like me personally, I have these, but I would love to see them back in print. GTO, the original series, as well as Shonen Junaigumi, not the original, but like the original that we got. Shonen Junaigumi is the original. And Rave Master would be fantastic to see that in print, especially with how much Kodansha loves to do Hiro Mashima stuff. I would love to see Rave Master. Anyway, enough gushing about this. Obviously, this is one of the most exciting ones I am most excited about from this entire video. But they do have a couple more from Kodansha. This one looks really cute. Luca, the dragon vet from Yuna Hirasawa. Luca was raised in a world where people can fly to travel, work, or war on the back of dragons, and she knows what she wants to be, a dragon vet. Standing in her way are stringent admissions rules, impossibly difficult classes, and notorious family name, a magical medical drama full of adventure and intrigue from the creator of My Journey to Her, perfect for younger and older fans of Witch Hat Atelier and the Apothecary Diaries. This sounds very cute, and I am very much looking forward to it. It definitely looks like it's right up my alley. And they had one more from the same creator, Yuna Hirasawa, My Journey to Her, the title that they just mentioned in that other announcement. In this standalone manga, trans author Yuna Hirasawa shares her experience living with gender dysphoria, as well as her trip from Japan to Thailand for her gender-affirming surgery in 2015. She covers topics like coming out to the family and the loneliness of traveling to a new place, all while illustrating the legal and medical processes of her own transition. After graduating from university, Yuna spent several years going through the motions and working an office job, until one day, while in pursuit of an essential missing piece of her life, she receives a diagnosis of gender dysphoria, which opens up new doors for her. As she takes on medical treatments and tries out new makeup and outfits, she sees just how lonely and difficult the process of transitioning can be. But in 2015, when Yuna travels to Thailand for her gender-affirming surgery, the support of her siblings, new strangers, and documenting her experience through manga helps her begin to heal in more ways than one. Told in an honest, at times humorous tone, this memoir is a blend of manga and detailed prose that does not shy away from sensitive topics such as suicidal ideation, transphobia, and the simultaneously harrowing yet joyous experience of gender-affirming surgery. So that's it for Kodansha, and we're almost done. We just have one more newer publisher that popped up, Publang. I don't know how new they are. They're new to me, at least. But they did have two licenses that they announced. The first one being Payback, which follows Lee Yuhan, a gangster whose choices lead to tragedy after his younger brother is killed in a revenge attack and his mother dies soon after. Yuhan struggles under a mountain of hospital debt. One night, he meets a man from the entertainment industry who offers to sponsor him and help him seek revenge. And then the last one for this entire video is Debut or Die. Ryu Gunwoo, who wakes up after a night of drinking in the body of Park Moon-dae. In his new life, he must debut as an idol within a year or die. His only chance lies in the grueling survival program Idol Inc., but Moon-dae is a complete novice. To survive, he must find a way to become a world-class idol. And that is it. That's everything. We have finished going through every license from Anime NYC, from Anime Expo, and from San Diego Comic-Con. So I'm going to put my own mug back on the screen to talk to y'all to wrap up here. A lot got announced, a lot of very exciting stuff. I know there was other stuff that happened outside of the conventions. If you want to mention any of those in the comments down below, please feel free, because I know there's a lot of stuff that other people are also excited about. But this is like the biggest con season, I swear. Like I know I didn't make a video last time I meant to, but I don't think it was going to be this big. So this is quite an undertaking, and so many cool, exciting things. It's such a great time to be a fan of manga. We have not just exciting new licenses coming from Japan and from Korea, but we have licenses that have people my age grew up with. If you were collecting manga in the early 2000s or even before that, some of these things you haven't seen for decades, and they're coming back into print, and it's so exciting to see stuff like Beck and Mars and Shugokara and Battle Royale all coming back into print. And I love the deluxe edition hardcovers that different publishers have been doing. So many great announcements for me, and crazy stuff coming like Billy Bat. It's a wild, 2025 has been a wild year for license announcements, and we're only just done with August now. We still have several months left to wrap up this year, and 2026 is going to be one of the biggest years for releases, just based on what we know that's coming. So I'm very excited for a lot of this stuff. Let me know in the comments what you are most excited about picking up. Rattle off as many series as you want. I'm really curious what everyone's looking forward to. What licenses piqued your interest the most, but also what did you see in this video that you had no idea was coming? What did you miss? Even if you were paying attention to new license announcements when they were coming, Did you miss anything that I happened to put in here? So please sound off in the comments down below. I appreciate each and every one of you spending time with me. As always, this is a big video. It's almost an hour and 40 minutes at this point as I'm recording. I'm sure I'll trim down a few minutes of that, but a lot of stuff in this video. So thank you so much for watching if you got to the end. If you're new here, I really appreciate you, and I would love it if you would hit that subscribe button and hit the bell so you can tune in for new videos whenever I put them out. And if you're not new here, you know how much I appreciate you spending time with me every single time I put out a video. So again, thank you all. I'll see you all in the next one. Peace out.